Okay, welcome to Unit 8. This is major and minor triads. So triads, as we've discussed before, we've sung these a bunch, so you should have a head or kind of a one-up on this material. But it's created by stacking two intervals of thirds on top of each other. So you stack two intervals, each made up of a third, on top of one another. So as you can see, you've got a third, 1, 2, 3, that's one third, and then 1, 2, 3, a second third, stacked on top of one another. They also look like snowmen. So it's just like a giant snowman, if you're a tiny snowman, I guess in this case. So you create intervals by starting on any given note, and you stack a third on top of it, and then another third. So if you see a triad, you'll see space, 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 or line, 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 if you're in the clef. Okay. There are four types of triads: major, minor, diminished, and augmented. And we did sing these a bunch, and now we're just learning how to build them and how to technically do this work um, from just our singing into the theoretical. Several different ways that you can think about building triads. You may know of other ways. You may come up with other ways on your own. But in class, we're going to relate everything back to that major scale we did in Unit 3. Okay, so a major triad is created from the root, third, and fifth of any major scale. The root, tonic, do, the third, and the fifth. So in this case, the root being do, that's the root or tonic, the third, and the fifth. And we're talking about that. We're talking about the first degree, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Okay, so any major scale, you draw it out, you take the root, the first note, the third, and the fifth, do, mi, and so, and you have a major triad. Okay, and then you could, I can erase this for us, you could just stack them then in this way, like the previous page, and you have what we would call a triad, or a chord. F major triad, then F major chord. Okay. Dum, di, da, 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 do, mi, so, mi, do. F, A, C, A, F. So we're going to just practice this. So pause, practice doing a D major triad, and then we'll go through it together. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to go to my whiteboard, and I am going to start by simply drawing a D major scale. Okay, you can use your circle of fifths. Maybe you've memorized this by now. Maybe you need to do whole steps and half steps. And it just depends on who you are. You'd find that there's an F sharp and a C sharp in D major. So you've got D major built. We're going to take the root or the first scale degree, the third, and the fifth, and we should have that major triad. D, F sharp, and A should be the major triad. Let's check out how they did it. So we built a D major scale: D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D. Find the root, the third, and fifth, or do, mi, and so. You stack the three of them, and you have your major triad. Okay, D major triad, D major chord. That's the terminology we'll use. Try it with C major, pause, and then come back. Okay, how do we build that C major? I think there's a little mess up in that slideshow, but we would do the same thing. Draw out C major. Okay, find the root, the third, and the fifth. 1, 3, and 5. Stack those, C, E, and G. You should have your major triad. In this case, C major triad or C major chord. Okay. Boom. Ba, be, ba, ba, ba. Practice again. Major triad on E major. So, and this looks like this slideshow got all messed up and didn't really kind of do it the way it should have. But you should practice doing that, not just use that cheat sheet essentially that's there, but build your E major scale. And you have how many sharps? You got 4: F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. Take the root, the third, and the fifth, E, G, and B. Excuse me, E, G sharp, and B, as they did here. And you've got E, G sharp, B, an E major triad, E major chord. Da, 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 do, mi, so, mi, do. Okay, now moving on. Minor triads are created when the third in a major is lowered by a half step. So you've got this idea of a major chord in F major that we did earlier. So if we just remind ourselves F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and F. The root, third, and fifth are F, A, and C. Root, third, fifth, do, mi, so. And we're going to lower that third by a half step. So you got to remember your sharps, flats, naturals. In this case, it was A. Lowered to A flat, it becomes a minor triad. So you have to build the major and then lower it to become minor. And that's just the third you lower. So we go from do, mi, do, to do, me, so, me, do, me, so, me, do. And that's the thing that we've done in class that you should know. So we go from an F major triad to an F minor triad. Now they did the same thing here. What's the first note, the root of that first chord here? It's a D, correct. So that's a D major triad. And then what you're going to do is take that third note, lower it by a half step, D or F sharp becomes F natural. You go from a D major triad to an to a D minor triad. Do, mi, so, mi, do, me, so, me, do, or D, F sharp, A, F sharp, D, F natural, A, F natural, D. So there are lots of ways to think about doing this. We've done it with solfege, but now you know how to do it from a theoretical perspective. Draw the major scale, get the triad, and then it's major. You can lower it the third to make it minor, and that's how you can build. So we're going to practice building minor. So build a B flat minor triad. We'll do this together. We'll go over here. So start by building the B flat major scale. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, and we can actually stop there. You could keep going if you want to just keep practicing your major scales. But in B flat, you got two flats per your circle of fifths or your whole steps and half steps. We're going to get the root, the third, and the fifth. B flat, D, and F. That is your major capital M triad. Now I'm going to lower the third by a half step. It becomes, correct, D flat. And now I have a minor triad. Let's see if we're right. Start by building a B major triad. So we got B flat, D, and F. B flat, D, F, like we did. Okay. Do, mi, so, mi, do. Now take the major triad, lower the third by a half step. We go from do, mi, so, mi, do to do, me, so, me, do. Practice A minor. So first build A major scale, A major triad, and then change it to A minor. Okay, welcome back. So you get that A major, A, B, C, D, E, and we only need those three notes. In A major, we're going to have three sharps, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. So I just need that one. A major triad, root, third, and fifth. A, C sharp, and E. Okay. And then we're going to take that and lower the third note by a half step from C sharp to, correct, C natural. So now I have A, C, and E, and it's a minor triad. Let's check our work. There's your A major triad, A, C sharp, and E. A, C sharp, E. Do, mi, so, mi, do. Take that major triad, lower the third by a half step. It becomes C natural. So we would, technically you don't need it, but to remind yourself, there's that natural. Do, mi, so, mi, do, me, so, me, do, in our solfege speak. Try G flat. Okay. We'll come back. Let's do it together, and then we'll see what they did. So remember, G flat. How many flats? Right? G flat, A flat, B flat, C, D flat. So we got G flat, B flat, and D flat. That's their major. And then lower that to B double flat. And you've got your minor triad. Let's see if Thompson's right. Boom. So we got G flat, B flat, and D flat. That's our major triad. Do, mi, so, mi, do. And we're going to lower it to G flat, B double flat, and D flat. Do, me, so, me, do. Or G flat, B double flat, D flat, B double flat, G flat. And that is how to build minor triads. So it all starts with major, and then you just take the major and go to minor. You can use your circle of fifths for any of this. There's some ear training, which I would definitely do and practice. And then what you will find is there's going to be two practice sheets. One looks like this. It's practice building your major triads. So you can just work on that, okay? And then your second one would be building the minor triads. And that's what we'll work on for the next 2 weeks. We'll practice together. You'll practice apart. We'll take the test in about 3 weeks, and you should be good to go and all set. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you're not confused. Thanks.